What is going on, Call of Duty fans? Welcome to the first episode of your new favorite CDL podcast, Around the CDL. I'm Jake. I'm here with these two lovely gentlemen. You guys, introduce yourselves.
I'm Preston, Caesar Season. I am an Optic fan. I've been watching COD since maybe Black Ops 3, late Black Ops 3, early IW, so still relatively new in terms of COD in general, but big time Optic fan, and I'm very excited to be a part of this with these two absolute studs.
Appreciate that. My name's Alex, but y'all probably know me as Optic Texas Burner. I've been a COD fan for a while. I've been a competitive COD fan ever since the MW3 days. I remember watching Scumpy, his old videos and live streams on YouTube, and that's when I got into it. So I've been in and out of competitive COD, like watching it per se. I know I most recently got back into it after Black Ops 4, so during MW 2019. But yeah, a little bit from me. Pass it back to Jake.
Nice. Yeah, I'm Jake. Jake Maverick is kind of what I go by here on the internet. Similar to Alex, I've been watching COD since MW3. The COD XP event, that Optic one, was the first event I ever watched. It's from that moment on that I became a big Nade Shot fan. So I've been following Optic for the longest time. Once he started 100 Thieves, following them. That's why I'm a big LAT guy. But yeah, I'm excited to be here with these two guys. We got a lot to cover in this first episode with the launch of the CDL coming up next week. Biggest thing to start, big news that came out today, Brice and Tunn not being re-signed by the league. Obviously, it comes as a shock, not only to us, but to them, because apparently they only found out a couple days ago, 8 days before the league started. And then on top of that, obviously, Lando stepped away. So we're looking at a bit of a caster dilemma here. So what are your guys' thoughts on this whole Brice and Tunn thing?
Yeah, well, I'll start it off by saying that I made a tweet saying that if it made room for Maven and Merc to become full-time, then it was a good move, but that was before I knew anything about the situation in general. I didn't know what the CDL was doing with Brice and Tunn. I didn't know that they were leading them on for months upon months just to not give them a contract extension. I just thought maybe it was a pull so that they could, maybe do Merc or Maven or bring Shift and somebody else on board. But that is just absolutely catastrophic that the CDL did that. Two of their casters, no matter if they're, the top casters or fan favorites, it doesn't matter. I mean, it's super unprofessional. I would like to say uncharacteristic, but at this point, is it really uncharacteristic? I'm
The
not
league
really
is
sure.
wild.
But
Yeah,
it's a
honestly,
wild league. But best of luck to those two, and I'm sure they'll land on their feet. They're both very, very talented.
yeah. I mean, honestly, it was kind of a shock. I think the biggest part that shocked me was the fact that they were just notified, like a few days ago,
Yeah.
that they were being let go. But the fact that Tunn was like, hey, like for the past few months, the CDO was telling us we have a contract in the works for y'all. Don't even worry about it. And then just to get a slap in the face that, hey, actually, due to budget cuts out of all things, we're gonna have to let y'all go. So
Messed up.
it's now. I mean, I brought up the question. Okay, if they're being let go, then who is gonna replace them? Because I highly doubt that Miles and Chance are gonna cast all of the games.
Yeah.
Because usually Maven and Mark only do majors and champs, and just having Miles and Chance do all the games just really doesn't make any sense. I know we still have study, but again, with Lando kind of taking a step back from casting, it just makes me wonder if they're going to bring someone from the like challenger scenes like Shift, or who they're going to bring on to kind of fill those spots.
I just don't understand what their thought process was. Where's the transparency? Where's the professionalism? If you're not going to sign them to a contract extension, give them a warning that you're not going to
Yeah.
sign them to a contract extension. I'm sure they would have taken it a lot better if you actually warned them, like, hey, we got to do budget cuts. We're not sure, like, the future of the CTO. We got to make sure that we're making the best financial decisions as possible. They'd be a lot more understanding. I mean, you just kind of give them the axe a week before the CDL starts. I mean, we start Friday. It's not even a week. They said they know a couple days before.
Yeah, they
but
said 8 days.
still, yeah, 8 days. Like, that's insane. Just be transparent.
Honestly, 8 days isn't enough, and that's even to go along with the fact that we still don't know where we're going to be watching the CDL this season.
Exactly.
I know Twitch was brought up, YouTube was brought up. I saw a tweet from someone who was like a business owner within, I think, Halo that said that they had a YouTube deal and like worked in the works. But at this point, it's like it's Sunday. In 5 days, we have
Yeah.
the start of the league,
They
and we
also
know
had
nothing about it.
they also had a contract deal in the works for Brice and Tunn, and that
Yeah,
fell through. So
exactly.
that
Yeah.
YouTube deal to me just means absolutely nothing until they say that we're on YouTube full time.
I saw someone say on the Twitter replies to one of the tweets about the situation, like maybe the YouTube deal fell through, or maybe they decided to stay on Twitch and all that YouTube money that they were going to get, they no longer had to pay Bryson Ton or pay for visas. I don't know what visa expenses look like. But I mean, the fact that these teams pay like $5 million a year, I think, as part of their buy-in, and the league doesn't have enough money to pay for 2 casters. And I would imagine they're going to replace them probably with someone like Shift. We'll have to see what happens, but yeah.
I can't like I can't actually think that they were making so much money that they could just ditch them, bring on 2 casters, and be saving that much money. I just don't see that being super fathomable. I don't think that's the case. I don't know. I think it's super wild, this situation. I don't know if we've seen anything like this, to be honest.
And then I know some people were speculating that Veli was getting brought back on with some of his
Some of his tweets.
cryptic tweets that he had. So, and we of course we know about the situation that happened. I don't even remember when it happened. I don't know if it was
I think it
Champs
was
or when
Major
it was.
4 Vanguard.
Something.
It was mid-season. It wasn't Champs because he didn't do it for the rest of the year.
Mm-hmm.
I actually think it was right before Champs. Of the Vanguard season. Because when I went to Champs, there was a fan in front of me that was like yelling out like "Justice for Relly" or something like that.
Yeah.
And as someone from like the CDL production team came up and was like, "That's your first strike," which that was also the Champs where I got kicked out for my infamous sign.
Oh.
That was a fun, but yeah, I mean I wouldn't mind Belly coming back. You know, it seemed like a lot of people really liked him when he was casting or when he was doing his stuff with the CDO.
Mm-hmm.
But something else that I do want to bring up was also the fact that Tunn said that the CDL pays a lot of money for travel. I didn't realize that they flew them all the way from the UK to come and cast and stuff like that. I don't know if that was also happening for online matches, but I'm guessing
Yeah,
there was.
I think Brice and Tunn, when the online qualifiers, I'm pretty sure they cast from the UK.
Okay.
So I feel like I've heard them say like it's 2 a.m. while they're casting, and like, so I'm pretty sure they cast remotely a lot of the time. So I mean, it's nice that they paid for their travel, but I can't imagine the expenses for those 2 guys is that big of a deal breaker in bringing them back.
No, it's not. Not when your first 3 or 4 years was a $25 million buy-in per team.
Yeah.
It's not. It's inexcusable. It really is.
It's definitely, they got a lot to answer for. I'm sure we'll get a PR statement out of them, but there's still a lot to need to tell us where we're watching, a lot of challengers information people still don't know. So we'll see what ends up happening.
I don't even think they made like an official statement about releasing them.
No, they definitely didn't. They probably, I don't know, if I was in charge of the league, I would tell them ahead of time as much as you could. And then you probably coordinate with them when you're going to put out a public statement. So they're aware of when the public's going to know. They can tell the public earlier if they want. But yeah, poor PR out of them.
Speaking of PR, let's talk that post that they posted.
Oh
where
my
they got
God, yeah. Spelled
where
things
they
wrong, said the wrong
they
thing.
spelled so many things wrong. They put Friday, December the 5th instead of the 8th. They spelled thieves wrong. They still put Texas Optic, which bugs me a little, but it is what it is. But just it doesn't even seem like they're trying anymore. They know they're going down the hole.
Yeah.
They know this may be the last season. And at this point, they're just like, oh well, it doesn't matter anymore.
You gotta at least try, though. Just show like a little effort. We're not asking for much because we know at this point, but just like a little effort. Because at this point, it's just like a massive slap in the face. It's like you guys are sitting here dedicating your time watching us. Yeah, whatever.
They're just trying to save as much money as they can before the ship sinks. That's all it is.
Basically.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about it. I'm sure more stuff's going to come up, and we'll talk about it as the season progresses. But Let's move into one of the big topics for this first inaugural episode: season predictions.
A little spicy.
We'll get spicy. We'll see how much we agree and disagree on a lot of these things. I made a YouTube video about this already, so some people might already know some of my predictions. But we'll start it off. We'll go with the big one: champs, winner, champs, or runner-up. What do you guys have as your finals matchup?
You know, got to go with the hometown team. I'm going Optic. Champs, runner-up. I'm going FaZe.
All right, that's a fair matchup.
I actually think that's what I put too. But for sake of maybe changing it up, I'll say I'm saying Optics winning, but I'll say Toronto for the sake of podcast and everybody not having the same opinion. I'll go Optic in first and Toronto in second.
Makes sense.
I could see Toronto going second.
Yeah, I have Toronto second, FaZe first. I'm a Thieves fan, but I'm gonna have to see more throughout the season before I can say they're gonna win champs.
FaZe.
But yeah, I think FaZe is just the best. This is probably the best FaZe team on paper we've seen. Even that team with Arcades, I feel like on paper this team might be better, at least individually, skill wise. And then I think Ultra, Envoy for Hixie is huge. So we'll have to see. MW3 is a different game, especially the TTK than MW2. So some teams might be better, some teams might be worse. But I'm going FaZe win, Toronto runners up, I think. Back-to-back years, Scrap's probably going to talk crap and then lose in the finals.
No, that's totally fair. That FaZe team on paper is insane.
Yeah, last year when they picked up Slasher, it was questionable to me. I was like, I don't know if that makes sense, just because we know Cell likes to run the main AR. But now that they picked up a true flex and draws, it's like, yeah, this
one of the best too.
Pretty fucking scary.
Yeah, it's not just any flex. It's one of, if not the flex.
Yeah, I mean, y'all heard all the stories about first Envoy and draws to Optic, then draws and Pred, and then he just ended up picking FaZe. I mean, it's understandable.
I don't blame him.
FaZe is FaZe. Like, them boys are like gonna place top 3 no matter what. And I think now with draws being on that team, I don't think there's an event where I see them not placing or not going to the finals, not going to Sunday.
Wow,
dude.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm interested to see at the end of the season. We already know they're going to be godlike in search. I want to see what their record is in game 5s at the end of the season. I don't know if they go to a game 5, I feel like they're guaranteed to win. It's going to be it might be the best search team of all time, this FaZe team.
It might, I think if it does go game 5, FaZe has it, but I think it'll rarely go to game 5 whenever you play against them.
Yeah,
unless it's like one of the top 4 teams, which again, in my opinion, it's FaZe, or in no order: FaZe, Toronto, NYSL, and Optic, of course.
FaZe is going to go to a lot of game 5s with the top 3 teams, just because I think this game is going to get like super mixy. I don't know if it's like Cold War. They dominated, but this game, it feels like this game might get like super mixy. Not as mixy as last year. Last year it felt like a toss-up, to be honest, but this game's a little bit more consistent. But I think they're just so good, especially in search. They're not going to lose many series, and I don't see them losing many game 5s. I think what their kryptonite might be is like hardpoint, but like their kryptonite at hardpoint is like 66% win percentage. Like they're losing like 1 out of 3 maps, if that. Like, these guys are crazy.
Yeah. We could go on and on about FaZe, but I think, and maybe this will transition well into someone you guys might have, but MVP. We'll see if any of us picked anyone from FaZe. Who wants to start it?
I'm going. Yeah, Dashy's he got snubbed during the Vanguard season, in my opinion. I'm going Dashy this season. I think he finally secures it this season. Just based off like the play that I've seen in like BPO 8s or just 8s, or just like the short time that they stream scrims before they cut it off because everyone started to go all out.
Yeah.
But I think Dashy is going to get his this season for sure.
That's a good shout.
I will. I'll give you 2 answers. I'll give you my biased answer, which is Pred, and I'll give you my unbiased answer, which is Simp. I think that dude is going to absolutely fry this year. I think Dross is going to open up a lot for him in his role. I think he's just going to have a good time. He could roam with really any weapon. He could use the god tier SMG or the AR. I think he'll have a good year.
Yeah, those are all good picks. I was thinking about it. I was thinking maybe a BZ. Maybe he gets it this year. Maybe someone like uh, Pred or Draws or Shotzi with the movement back in the game. But I'm going Scrap. I think top 3 last year, rookie year. He's got the mentality. Even when he talks crap and he loses, he bounces back. Toronto's going to be a great team. You're going to have to be a top team if you want to win MVP. I think he takes another step and ends up being the best player this season.
Honestly, that was my second pick, Scrap. Even though I hate the guy sometimes, he talks a lot of shit, but I mean, he backs it up, so you gotta you gotta give him his flowers. He talks, but best believe at the end of that day, he's gonna be up there on the scoreboard, whether it's for S&D, for hard point control, it doesn't matter. But I think now with having Envoy on the team too, I think Scrap is definitely gonna turn up a lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's from Jersey. I'm from Jersey. I got to support my boy for that very reason. But yeah, I mean, he's one of the most entertaining guys in the league too. So maybe you get some voting bias in there.
There's not too many people that talk a lot of smack and back it up, especially not the way that he does. That dude's legit. He's legit.
Yeah,
He goes at everyone. He does not care
No.
who you are.
No.
No matter how many rings you got. I mean, him and Clayster's little beef that they got going on. It's so hilarious.
it's funny. It's funny.
He backs it up though. You know, ever since I'm pretty sure when he was in Challengers, he would talk a lot, but he always backed it up. And now
I mean,
in the
there's
last
that
year,
clip of him talking at a LAN when he was like 11 years old
11
or
years
something.
old, right?
So he's about that life.
He was a squeaker, but he was slamming kids at 11. So
Yup.
I got to give him his flowers. He's nice.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about this one. I think is one of the most interesting because it's a toss-up. Rookie of the year. There are a lot of rookies this year. There are some guys that I don't know if they're considered rookies or not, like some of the Heretics guys. I don't think they are because they played in like the CWL, but either way, who do we got for Rookie of the Year? I'll start this one. I'm going Gwyn. I think there's a lot of guys that could be really good. I think Gwyn's opportunity in Carolina is one of the biggest. He obviously has Real on his team, is also a rookie, so maybe Real can be this guy for the same reason I'm going to say Gwyn, but they don't have a star on that team. There's no one that's looked at on paper going into the season like that's the guy on the team. And I think, with Clay as a veteran leader, all this opportunity for Gwyn to kind of just take over maps and be the guy, be the face of the team when he needs to be. I don't know. I think he's got a chance to like put up big numbers this year.
All right. I'm gonna go Abuza. I think Seattle is a little bit of a sleeper team. I'm not gonna say like they're gonna go out there and do great every single event, but I think they're solid on paper and they're getting disrespected a little bit more than they should. And I think he's in a role right now where he could kind of do what he wants. I think he played AR in Challengers. I don't really pay attention to
I think he was a
that
main.
much.
Yeah.
Okay, so like they technically have him as like the need be second sub, which is a little awkward to me, but this game right now is playing pretty much like 3 ARs. So this team might be good. I think he's going to do whatever he wants on the map. And I trust Alec, even if he had a really bad year last year. I still trust Alec. I mean, he's won 2 world championships, so
That he has.
I'll take Abuza.
Yeah, honestly, I'm kind of split. I was gonna go with Abuza, but Snoopy, I think he's still considered a rookie.
Yeah,
I know
believe
there
he
was
is.
remember that there was some debate on the timeline about if he was or not, and I think to be considered a rookie, you have to play over 3 games. And I think at champs he played exactly 3. So technically, I think he's still a rookie. So I'm tied between those two, Abuza and Snoopy. Snoopy, um, some of the clips that I've been seeing that the CDL Clips Twitter page posts about Snoopy, he's frying. So he kind of like reminds me of Shotzi a little bit. Just like run around, movement, get like be in your spawn, be annoying type player. But as you said, Preston, right now, we're in a 3 AR meta. Like I'm not gonna lie, you rarely see subs. Like I know some people are saying the rival right now is OP, and I know there's some clips of it absolutely gunning ARs from across the map. But I still think it's a 3 AR meta. As we said, Abuza played main AR in Challenger, so he's comfortable in that position. And I think, as President said, under like the leadership of Alec, who has rings, he's gonna do well. So
Mm.
I don't doubt it. But I'm tied between those two. But I think if I had to pick one, I think I'm picking Snoopy, honestly.
Snoopy, man. Speaking of Snoopy, what an interesting player. Like, first entry into the CDL is
Mhm.
at Champs against Optic Texas, and now you get to you keep your spot. You play well enough to keep your spot in the next year with a completely different team. I hope he does well, man. He's
Yeah.
been thrown to the wolves a couple times now. I mean, he's had 3 matches and he's played with 2 different teams within 3 matches. That's insane. So I'm rooting for the kid. I hope he does good.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
he was my second choice for rookie of the year. I think he's going to be good.
yeah, I mean, he came in against Optic at Champs. I don't even think he did that bad. I think he may have went negative by like 1 or 2 kills or 3, but to like just for your first series to go against Optic at Champs, like you gotta give him. He had some cojones on him, but
Yeah.
yeah,
For sure.
Yeah, no, shout out to Snoopy. I would love to talk to him about what that's like to play on that stage against Optic first match at Champs.
I'm not gonna lie. When they did team walkups, I know he was terrified. I
Oh,
could
he's
see it.
I
I
would
could
be.
see it. In his,
yeah.
I could see it in his eyes. I remember he looked at me and I could just see the terror in him. But he did his thing. You know, he didn't go
He's
ultra
good.
negative and drop a 0.6 or a 0.5. He did solid for his first time up there.
Mhm.
He's good for sure. He's good for sure.
All right, let's talk about. I've seen people call it different things. Comeback player, most improved player, kind of a guy that you think is going to have a big bounce back year. I talked about this in my YouTube video. I think it's going to be Clayster, another backing off my Gwyn take, another Ravens player. I think Clay in this main AR type or in this AR meta type of game. I don't know. I think he's gonna have a good year. Last year didn't have the best individual numbers, didn't have the team success. I think they're a sleeper team. I don't know, something about me in my heart. Maybe it's just my long-term fan bias, but I think Clay is about to bounce back.
I mean, I think this one's easy for me. I kind of already said it a little bit. I'm going Alec. Was on that LEG team last year. They were abysmal. Didn't do good. It was like at times people were like he's the worst player in the CDL, which it's insane. But much better team this year. You got Illy, you got Hook, you got the Rook. He's got a solid squad. I think he's gonna have a bounce back year for sure.
I'm taking another Surge player, going with Illy.
Hmm.
You know, Illy, I loved him when he was on Optic. He had his thumb injury, had
Poor
that whole
guy.
debacle. Jesus Christ, I strongly feel that if he didn't get injured or if his thumb didn't hurt, Optic would have been a lot better than they were.
Mm-hmm.
Probably even placed, top 3 at champs. But I just think this year, with the way S&D plays, I've even heard Control plays a lot better this year than it has the past few years.
That's
So
good
I
to
just
hear.
think, yeah, I just think him, again, being with Alec, being with Hook, I know him and Alec played a lot during the season, just like doing chows and stuff like that. So they have that chemistry. But just the way he plays, just the way we know he is, because we know Illy's passionate. Illy's probably one of the most passionate players I've ever seen
Mm-hmm.
from him. I think we lost against London at like Major One or certain like Major One qualifiers, and that's when he broke his headset
Yeah.
during the process video. But I think Illy is definitely going to be that player that shows us what he's truly about in this game, especially since like the TCK is a lot longer, and again, it's a 3 AR meta. I feel like he's a lot more comfortable on the AR than he is on a sub. So I think Illy's gonna win comeback player of the year or most improved.
I got one more that's like I haven't heard anything about him, and I personally rate this player really, really highly. I think he's been underrated since he's joined. Nero dropped off the
Yes.
Boston team last year. I thought he was disgusting. That move made no sense to me whatsoever. I think that if you kept Nero with Snoopy, their pace would have been absolutely insane. Those two match each other, I think, well. And I think he's on a team with Standy as a sub duo, Attach as the leader, and rookie Purge. I don't know too much about Purge, but I think Nero's going to have a good year. I'm not hearing enough about Vegas in general or
Mm-hmm.
Nero.
Yeah, I love Nero. I love that he
Me too.
plays fast, but he's super impactful.
Yep.
What's crazy is I was gonna say Standy as my comeback player of
That's
the year
another
because
good one.
Yeah.
because he was dropped from Ultra. They had that whole debacle with him and Scrap, where I'm not sure what the root of the problem was. I don't know if it was just that Scrap didn't feel like Stanley wasn't taking it serious enough, or if it was like gameplay related. But I know when he came in Cold War, he was on Rocker. He slammed Optic. Like like his first game, he absolutely slammed us. So I remember that very vividly. But
Yeah,
I
me too.
think
Sadly.
yeah, I think Stanley is going to be a player to also look out for. Like how you said, with Nero as SMG duos, I think those are going to be nasty.
Yep.
All right, I like those. Well, there's a lot of players that have the storyline to bounce back this season, so
For
it's
sure.
going to be interesting. All right, last predictions. We'll combine them together. Biggest bust and dark horse. Who wants to start? Who wants to take it? This this is the
I'll
hot
start.
question, so you're on the
I'll
hot seat.
start. Biggest bust for me, New York. I'm gonna say that because number one, you win a world championship, so automatically, if you don't win an event the year after, it's kind of already a bust season. Look at FaZe and Vanguard. They just get off the Cool War absolute dominant season. They get like 4 second places. That was a bust season. I know 4 second places is like
Yeah, right.
really, really good, but still a bust season. Then you make a roster change, and it just makes no sense whatsoever. Makes absolutely no sense. And I think that if they do not even like half of what they did last year, it's a terrible season. And then dark horse for me, LAT. I think they have a very, very solid 4-man roster. They fill all the gaps. I think they do what is necessary to make a good 4-man team. And I think they have a solid season. But they're not getting the love they deserve, so I'll go LAT.
All right, Alex, what do you got?
Biggest bust, if I'm being honest, I'm going Breach. I know Breach has a lot of hopes going into this new season with Snoopy picking up Priesta, picking up Slasher, but then also bringing back Cap. But I don't know. I just don't see it. I don't see like that team doing good. I know Preston did really well last season,
Thanks,
just
man.
because it was. I mean, Priesta did. Well, yeah, his name's Preston. So Preston did really, really well last season, just because it was a slower game, and I feel like like on NYSL, which again, I still don't get why they moved on from him. It
Yeah.
makes absolutely no sense at all. You just won champs, and then I get it. There's always the argument of if you can pack a punch, pack a punch. I know that's what a lot of people were saying with Optic. If they win champs, do they keep Hook? Do they go after Pred? People were on both sides of the argument. But it just doesn't make any sense to me. But again, back to Boston, I just don't feel like, I don't know, just something about that team just doesn't pop off. Like I get it. It seems like a slower team to me. With this game, you might get that. There's a lot of slower playing with this game, but I just think Boston just isn't gonna do it for me, honestly, this season. Dark horse though, I'm gonna go Surge. Um, you know, Ook, I love the man. He came into Optic. Wasn't our first choice. Of course, we had that whole Pred debacle where we wanted to get him after Scump's retirement. But he came in. He did well. I know he got criticized a lot for his inconsistent play. But I think him being with Hook, they have that chemistry from being on Empire. But I think those two, along with Alec and Abuza, I think that team's going to be a sleeper team. And I know we've also been hearing some things from like streams and stuff that Seattle, they're kind of nasty in scrims. Again,
Yeah, I've been seeing that.
it could be because of the 3-hour meta that they're so used to, but I've been seeing and hearing things that they're kind of nasty in scrims. So I'm giving them my dark horse. I don't doubt if they go in and win at least one event, honestly.
All right, that's some top level praise right there. I like it. Hey, it's
That's some
bold.
crazy
Someone's
dark
gonna
horse.
clip that, and when they win, you're gonna be viral.
You might be.
Yeah.
Good dad.
I'm gonna piggyback off of both of you. For bust, my two that I first think of are NYSL and Breach. And literally for the same reasons you both said. So I won't go into it too much. But NYSL, they won half the events. They pack a punch with Sib over Priesta. If they really don't win 3 events again, it's gonna be not looking great for them. And then Breach, I just think on paper they never really did it for me. obviously, new game, new TTK, so anything's possible. What do I know? But slaying, I don't know if the slaying's there, especially with the ARs. Slasher and Priestess, neither of them are like high slaying number type guys. A lot's going to be on Capsule and Snoopy, and if it really stays this heavy AR meta, it's going to be hard for them. So we'll see. And then Dark Horse, obviously, I'm going to say LA Thieves, but to not be total fan biased, I think Vegas is a good Dark Horse. Like we were saying, I think Nero, Sandy, Attached, those three are all looking for bounce back years. Purge's the rookie, so coming out of challengers, not a lot of people, including myself, know a lot about him. So I think those two, but definitely looking. I'm thinking Thieves. You know what I mean? Like I'm really hoping they're gonna have a good year. That's a lot of guys that are also looking to bounce back from some bad years.
I think Vegas is like the biggest question mark this year, to be honest. Like everyone was thinking it would be the Gorillas, but I mean, at this point, we just don't think they're going to do anything. At least me. I mean, maybe some people do. I don't. I think the biggest question mark this year for me is Vegas, and I think this why everyone's so skeptical around Boston is teams that rely on slaying power through their subs are very, very, very hit or miss. And those two, I think, you're relying on Capsule, you're relying on Snoopy. So we'll see if they handle business, then I'll eat my words. But I'm right there with you guys.
I think another team that I'm questioning or I have big question marks about is the new Miami Heretics team. I don't think I've heard anything about them this offseason, like their scrims or anything. So that's one of my biggest question marks. It's a full Spanish team, if I'm not mistaken. So that's going to be the first, and I'm excited to see them. I will be at that major as well. So, but I think another dark horse team that I just thought about is the Ravens.
Yeah,
I don't think Clay is going to let that team fail in any way. But I guess we'll just see how the season goes on. But I think those two teams, I have a question about Miami, but I think Carolina could also be a dark horse team.
Besides an absolute catastrophic breakdown at Major 4 last year, Clay was about to take Vegas from worst in the league to a playoff spot. If they didn't choke that bad at Major 4, they were making Worlds, or I guess World Championship, and then who knows what happened. I mean, it only takes one event for a team to get hot. So never doubt Clay, man. If there's like one player in the league you're just never doubting, it's Clay. Like he says, man, throw him to the wolves, he'll come back leading the pack.
He's not lying.
No, he's not.
No, I was gonna say, if you think about it, like Vegas was picking. I mean, I think the biggest hindrance to that team, I love Teej, but I think Teej was the biggest problem on Vegas last year. But I think it was at Optics Major when they played LA Thieves and they had that crazy comeback. I think that's just why you can never count out Glacier's team, because I remember listening to the comms and Glacier was just going 120% that game. Like he was not letting anything slide. So I think that's why you could just never count them out for whatever reason.
Yeah, there's a lot of dark horse teams this year. I feel like there's a lot of teams that like you don't know what's going to happen. I think it's going to be a very interesting start of the season.
That's the thing that I want to clear up. People are going to be like, if a team's really bad and we're talking about them being a dark horse, they're going to be like, well, you thought they were your dark horse. No, that's what makes them a dark horse. Everyone's expecting them to be bad, and you're taking a shot on them being good. If they end up being bad, everyone thought they were going to be bad anyways. So if these teams that we are saying are going to be a dark horse end up being bad, that's literally the definition of a dark horse.
Honestly, I feel like this year there's more dark horse teams than there's ever been in the CDL. Because if we think about it, I think the only bad team that I can really think of is LAG. Like, I think everyone else has potential with enough reps. If they, just for whatever reason, if the game goes their way, I think there's definitely a lot more dark horse teams. Like Vegas, I know we have question marks on them, but again, they have a lot of good players on that team. They can come out and literally just fry everyone, and we wouldn't even know it. So
the talent is just getting insane.
I think there's definitely a lot more dark horse teams this year than there's ever been in the CDL.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a great start to the year. Fantasy teams, Breaking Point Fantasy. We got our team submitted. We got enough to chat about here?
Yeah.
All right. We'll talk about just our keeper league team. So this is your team for the entire season. I'll start mine in case you guys need to pull yours up. I went with Celium as my captain. Not much you need to say about Cell. Kleenex as my second player. I think Kleenex is just incredible. He's consistent. Toronto has been amazing every year, largely in part to him. I got my rookie of the year pick Gwyn as my third guy. I've already talked about him, so not much to say. And then my fourth one, I did say that Breach were my bust team or one of my bust teams, but I went Priesta. He fit obviously value-wise with the $25 budget we have. But I think Priest is a good player. He does his role. He has big maps, big moments, and I think I'll take him for the entire year.
Yeah, I mean, I can't blame you. Why not? He just came off a world championship.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and now he's got a chip on his shoulder, so you might even get a better version of P-Dog this year.
Oh, yeah.
I went Dashy as my captain. I mean, that's probably obvious. I would have went Pred if he wasn't $10. I went Dashy as my captain. I went Clay because I think he's going to make that team pretty good this year. I went Hook just because he's looked really good from what I've seen in scrims. And I trust the players on Seattle to at least have a serviceable season. And then I went Kleenex just because Toronto's probably going to get at least 3 or 4 top threes. They're going to make a lot of noise during the online matches. So I went Kleenex for consistency purposes, and that's my 4-man team.
I like it.
For me, I went into it thinking about, okay, we're definitely going to have a 3 AR meta for most of the year, I would hope so. So I have 3 ARs on my team, that being Dashing, my captain,
Okay.
Attach from Vegas, and Cell. Cell is Cell. I mean, he's always going to give you numbers regardless, like no matter what. Cell is like, Cell.
Mm-hmm.
Dashy's pretty self-sufficient again, or self-explanatory. He's Dashy. He's always going to give you numbers no matter what. Attach is the one, he was kind of just there. I only had $4 left, and I was like, Attach is there. But I don't think Attach is bad. I know recently he hasn't had the best of statistics, but I think with this new game, with being with Vegas and Nero and Standy, I think he's going to do really good this season. And then my last one, my sub is, again, I also picked him as the biggest buzz, but it's Snoopy. Again, he reminds me of a clone of Shotzi in some ways. So I think he can really use that to his advantage. Get behind the enemies, be annoying, and just kind of pester them while his other team or the rest of his team does all the work. So those are my 4: Dashy, Attach, Cell, and Snoopy.
I like those. I think Attach is a good one because if you get something similar to Vanguard Attach, dude's like top 5, I think, in overall KD that year, that team would be disgusting, especially because he was only like $4, I think, on there. So
yeah,
that'll be interesting. I'm excited to see Attach play.
Again, I took into account that it's a 3 AR meta. They all play AR.
So that's smart.
But again, things could change with, I know Scrap even said that after Major 1, there's going to be some big changes coming to the game. So I just hope this team stays on a good track. I think all these teams, or every person that's on this team, their teams will do good at least. I don't think they'll be terrible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I like the teams. We'll see whose team ends up being the best at the end of the year. Then we can come back to this and we'll see how we did. Real quick, I just want to say shout out to Hydra, Controller Player of the Year at the Esports Awards. I mean, the dude, he won 2 majors. He won season MVP. He won champs. He wins Controller Player of the Year at the Esports Awards. I mean, an incredible year for him. And he's just getting started. I mean, he looks like he's going to get better and better as the years go on. A lot of people, including Scump himself, have said he reminds him of himself the most out of any player. So people think Hydra might be that, the next Scump, at least in terms of skill in the league. So shout out to him.
Congratulations.
Hydra's Paco. Last year he was crazy nasty. It's just, I don't know what I want to say it bugs me, but what's crazy to me is, this offseason, or no, when was it? Was it this offseason?
2 off seasons.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no. Yeah. 2 off seasons.
Yeah, 2 off seasons ago, where I'm pretty sure even Shotzi brought it up. That Hydra to Optic deal was done. Like he was in the group chat with them, and then
That's
just
insane.
to think about it, like now he's a champ. We could have had that Hydra and Shotzi duo, but all props to him. He deserves it. He did crazy good this season. Again, 1 MVP, 1 champs, 2 majors. So I gotta give him all the props. He definitely deserves it. But on the 8th, it's
Yeah.
it's all it's
We'll
all
get
bad
into
for
that. We'll get into
Business.
that. We will get into that. That is our way to end out this episode is the pick'ems. But we got to talk about the biggest news on the street, like the thing that has got the Call of Duty. I mean, even esports in general. I posted a TikTok about this. It is my second most viewed TikTok, and usually my CDL ones are not that viewed. Snaking has been GA'd. Something that people think should have happened a long time ago. Something that obviously has been a thing in the past, but the last couple years has sort of ramped back up into just being nonstop. But I'm glad, but it's going to be interesting to see how long it lasts.
That's
It's a good thing.
Yeah, that's
Go
what
ahead.
I was saying. I even put it out. I'm like, great, Snaking got GA'd, but how long is it truly gonna last? Because a lot of people bring up a good point. If it's champs round 11 and it's a 1v1, like, are you gonna snake for that champ or are you gonna hold up the GAs just because it's a GA? I feel like I want it to last because it seems like the game's a lot better without it. But I know there's been a few teams that have still been snaking. I don't know whether that's intentional or unintentional, trying to break bad habits, whatever it is. I think snaking is going to make the game overall a lot better to see because we won't see just a bunch of snaking fest, whether that's at like on hardpoint or search and destroy. I think it'll make the game flow a lot better too. Honestly.
It's a good thing. We'll see how long it holds up. I hope it holds up for the entire time, but I mean, the integrity of the players in this league past years have not been the greatest.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they'll do whatever they need to do to win. So, we'll see. It would be a massive W if it stands and it holds up. I hope it does. Right now, it's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, I know the biggest talking point was that snaking's been in the game for a while, even back to like BO4 and stuff like that, where you could do it. But it's just that I know this is something that Aches brought up was that the players actually had integrity, and even though they could do it, they didn't do it just because it's something that was frowned upon. And I know the whole talk about blacklisting teams for snaking and stuff like that has been a topic of discussion. I know Pred recently said that there's a team that they're no longer going to scrim because whether that's of snaking or for whatever reason. My biggest guess is yes, because of snaking. But yeah, like Preston said, I just think the players nowadays they're going to do whatever it takes to win, and if that means breaking GAs, then that means breaking GAs. Because again, technically GAs aren't official rules; they don't have to follow them. It's just gentlemen agreements. But if it's you and another person, game 5, round 11 for champs, you're most likely going to slink. Like, let's keep it a buck.
I mean, we'll see. There was if I'm not mistaken, there was a week in the online MW19 span where the MP5 was GA'd and the AUG just became insane. And then the AUG was GA'd and FaZe was like, dude, we're using the AUG. I don't really care. We're using the AUG. And then they didn't scrim anybody for the week. No CDL team scrimmed them for that week. So we'll see if they actually want to hold up to their side of the deal, and we'll see if everybody's like, all right, we'll blacklist if we need to. I mean, it worked then, so FaZe eventually stopped using it. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, it's all going to come down to just how much they can respect each other. The agreements they can come upon for these kind of things. But if someone breaks the GA, I mean, exactly what you just said. Everyone, the entire league needs to come together and blacklist that team, not scrim them, whatever it is to be, because I have a bad feeling that someone's going to snake, and instead of everyone coming together and blacklisting that team, whatever, another team's going to start snaking, and then another team's going to start snaking, and then it's just going to be like, are you going to not snake because you want to uphold integrity, or are you going to start snaking because at the end of the day you're going to be at a disadvantage if you're not? So I hope it can stick. I really, really hope it can stick. They got to do, I forget who said it on Twitter, but it might have been JCap said it, just tweet out who's snaking. Just put him on blast on Twitter. In the spotlight, like a lot of these players are. when they're being put on blast by the entire community, you know, it's a lot for some people to handle. So it could be another good way other than just blacklisting to get people to stop.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I mean, with that Sanking GA also came the auto tax sprint snaking, or I mean GA, plus the single tab run, and then Sounding Q also. But like with those, like how do we really know if someone is using it?
Yeah.
I think that's like the biggest thing with those two. But with snaking, I mean, clearly you can see in game. Um, but yeah, I guess we'll just see how it goes. You know, first week, or yeah, first game start out next week, so we'll see if truly those bad
We'll
habits.
see. I'm
die
gonna be
hard.
watching the chat as it scrolls and someone starts snaking and it's gonna go super fast all of a sudden. Whatever, that's YouTube, Twitch. I guess we'll find out. But
Yeah.
it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a lot
We're
of
going
fun.
to Mixer.
Oh, dude, imagine they bring Mixer back just for this.
One thing I do want to bring up, it's also been a topic of discussion, is smokes in hardpoint. We know some of the hills in this game are extremely hard to break, and people have said, you know, smokes can help with that, you know, break off lines of sight, et cetera, et cetera. I just want to get y'all's opinion on that.
I think personally, well, I want to start and preface saying I'm not a professional player, so my
Really?
opinion is solely based on me watching, not me playing. The people that play every single day of their life obviously will have a better opinion than I will on this topic. But I think Dan tweeted saying something like there are like 10% of hills in this game are like unbreakable and could be very beneficial having a smoke. The other 90% of hills in this game are very breakable, and using a smoke will cause a lot of one way, a lot of favoritism to the player who throws a smoke, and it will kind of make it like a little too overpowered. So I don't know. It's hard to say because, I mean, like I said, I don't play, I just watch. But if that's the case, then those 10% of hills are just going to have to suck. You shouldn't ruin the other 90%. But if the smokes actually are beneficial for every single hill, there's no reason why smokes, at least one smoke, shouldn't be allowed to play.
Yeah.
I think that's a fair take. I definitely, I think for sure you need, I think smokes in like SND is great. In hardpoint or like respawn in general, I probably lean on the way of no smokes. It definitely can, you know, make things a little too mixy, give one ways, that sort of things. When with the 10% of hills that are unbreakable, as they like to say, it just prioritizes rotations to those hills. It sets up for really great moments towards end of game where maybe you got two players meeting on the rotation, big gunfight to see who's gonna, you know, get that rotation for their team. And rotations and breaking are two of the biggest parts of hardpoint. So, you know, I think if it's only 10% of hills apparently that are unbreakable, that's really not. If it was like 30%, then that's a different story. But
Yeah.
I definitely lean towards no smokes in hardpoint.
I'd also like to say that I personally think the teams are starting to work better together on these unbreakable hills and really prioritizing certain positionings, certain kills, doing stuff that they need to make those unbreakable hills a little bit more breakable. Like Palace, P5 Palace on Invasion right now is insane. Like that's insane.
You're not
But
getting in.
you're not getting in. So like that's the one hill that I can think would be like super beneficial to have a smoke. But other than that, like I don't really think there's a hill in this game that's like, oh, I need a smoke to break it. If you're just the positioning, like you said, prioritize rotation, get there first, get set up. And it does, some of those hills do make for like a sick end of game, like, oh my god, 1v1, like watch the mini map, like that's what gets the hype going in a hard point. So I guess I'm anti-smoke and respawn, but S&D, they're crucial for sure. You need them. These maps have way too many crosses to not smoke across and then make a play.
All right, let's talk. We were talking a bunch about the teams throughout this, but this will be a good way for us to get an idea before we go into our pick'ems what teams we think are good. I went through CDL Scrim Intel on Twitter, tracked every team's map win count for their scrims that have been posted. Obviously, I'm sure there's tons of scrims we haven't seen on Twitter. Let's talk about some of the big highlights I got here for scrim map count. This is map count, obviously not like series count or whatever. First one, most played, 74 maps out of the Ravens. and they are exactly 37-37 in their map, so
Wow.
50% win rate.
Interesting.
That's typical.
Definitely like one of those. I mean, I noticed just scrolling through Twitter, I felt like I was just seeing Ravens over and over in these scrim screenshots.
Yeah. I
But
know.
they're grinding.
I'm pretty. I'm pretty sure they were the first team
Mhm.
to
Weren't they? I
like
think they were
actually.
scrimming before
one.
the game even like came out in freaking
Yeah.
NA.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Thursday night when everyone was doing that little glitch for people to get on. Thursday night.
That's
That's
Yeah,
insane.
I think Draws tweeted, "There's no way people are already scrimming or something like that," and they came out to beat the Ravens. But I mean, I gotta respect it. They're grinders. They're trying to get it every way possible. Um, so I gotta respect it. I got
Yeah.
37-37. Of course you're gonna win some, you're gonna lose some. I do want to preface Scrim Results. A lot of people, of course, when Optic played Temps team, people were going absolutely
I loved reading the replies on that.
crazy. Their first scrims they lost, and they were just, people were already all out on Optic. So I do want to preface this, Scrim Results.
It's
They're
scrims.
not, yeah, they're
It's
scrims.
It's just to get better. It's to get better.
And
That's all it is.
especially before they even play the first match of the season. If you're halfway through the season, scrims might mean a little bit more. But right now they're figuring out meta, they're figuring out maps and everything.
Yeah.
So it's not
Figuring out where to go, timings, everything.
the fun part as a fan is to overreact to things.
Of course, no, of course,
Without
of course.
a doubt.
What I will say is, shout out Clay, shout out the Ravens. I personally am a huge fan of that. Teams that are going to have to work harder to beat the better teams.
Mhm.
I respect it. They're working harder. They're putting in the extra work. They're putting in the hours. I know one of, I think it was actually Optic's first scrims they streamed. It was Clay and the Ravens' third set of the day. They played 3 sets. They played LAG. I think they got smoked by FaZe, and then they went and played Optic. Like, if you're going to be a team that needs to work harder to get to the top, put in the work, and that's what they're doing. And it's good for them, man. I'm glad to see it. 74 maps is
Yeah.
That is crazy. That is
Hey,
crazy.
they say hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. So
And there's definitely maps that we don't know about. So
oh yeah.
good for them. Good for them.
I have a feeling they're in like at least the 100s.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Good for
Without
them.
a doubt.
And he hasn't posted it. CDL Scrim Intel hasn't posted anything in like 3 days at this point because most of the scrims are offline at this point.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there's a lot. But here's another big one that I noticed. FaZe. 40 maps played, 33-7, 82.5% win rate.
Right. I mean,
and also just to
Are we
preface, these are mostly hardpoint and some control for all of these scrims. I don't think I've ever seen anyone post as SND scrim, especially because they're not going to do that on stream. But 82%, 82.5.
Are we actually shocked? I'm not shocked at all. I'm literally not surprised
And I
at all.
believe I wrote it down on here somewhere. Okay, so their losses: 3 to LA Thieves, 3 to Temp and Co, and 1 to Surge. Those are their 7 losses.
I think that Surge loss. I think every other game Surge got slammed. If I'm not mistaken, I think that's the one where
I think they
everyone was
did,
like,
yeah.
Like I don't think there was a few like 100-point clubs, but I mean it's FaZe. What else do you expect? They're gonna slam everyone. I know there was one video that I saw where Ben was talking, and he actually said that this was like a week ago, I think, that Optic and FaZe split scrim results.
Yeah,
So, teams are scrimming now, but I mean it's FaZe. I don't know what anyone else expects. It's FaZe. They're gonna do good regardless.
Yeah, it doesn't
Absolutely.
matter. Especially at the beginning of a game, scrims are more focused, I think, just pure talent wise, because nobody really has a full grasp on the game. Yeah, teams aren't going to get a full grasp on the game until halfway through Major 1, heading into Major 2. That's when teams are really going to start to break the game down. So this is like pure talent, and is there like much of a better team in the game based on pure talent?
Yeah.
Like,
it's just talent, but like Draws is probably like he's like the most.
He's the grinder.
Yes,
The
exactly,
grinder.
like,
Capital the.
Like I'm pretty sure like on the BPL8 he has like 60 something games, and like the second person is like 30.
Yeah.
So he's grinding this game, which I know it's something that he also talked about last year. Was he grinded MW2, which is kind of like you could tell, he was really successful in what he did, but he is the grinder this year.
Shout out Draws, man. Just became a dad too. Shout
Yeah,
out that guy.
Oh yeah,
he's got the
that is
dad
very
buff.
true.
Dad buff for sure.
That was crazy to hear too. I remember I saw it on Twitter and I said,
Yeah,
"What?"
they kept it. They kept it on
Kept it
secret.
secret.
They
Yeah,
kept it so DL,
good for
which
them, bro.
like makes sense because you didn't see Keeks at any of the majors last year. You didn't see her at champs. You didn't see her anywhere. That could be due to the controversial topic of her, calling out or yada yada. But it makes sense why she wasn't there. So
Good for them.
shout out to Draws for spelling.
Absolutely, dude. This could be the last one we talk about unless we want other specific ones, but I feel like we got to bring up Optic's record here because you guys are both Optic fans.
Oh god.
47 games, 21-26, so 45% win rate. Yeah. I would say they're probably a bust at this point. Obviously not. But
chalk this season, man. It's over.
It's only a matter of time before they drop Kenny because he'll be the scapegoat.
Yeah, it's done.
We're absolute garbage. Like,
we're terrible. No, we a couple days later than everybody else. Behind, people got an early jump. That's expected. They're gonna practice, and they're gonna learn the game, catch up eventually. I'm not worried at all. These guys are 4 absolutely crazy, individually talented players. They'll put it together.
Yeah, I don't have a care in the world for scrims, honestly. Especially after last year, it was said that Optic was slowly slamming everyone in scrims, but then we got top 2 both times. I'm pretty sure there was one thing where like we were slamming Thieves.
Yeah,
I think, and then we went on to lose to Thieves in the grand finals. So it's kind of like one of those things where it's like I'm not looking too much into scrims. Before I did, like when Scump would stream them in Cold War and stuff like that, like I'd be the one like in the chat hashtag and like map count just to see, or exclamation point map count just to see like what the score was. But at this point, I'm like they're scrims, they're just to practice. It's gonna happen. How Preston said, also we started off late as well. All the teams had a few days before us to scrim because of the whole Pred situation. But I'm not too deep into it, honestly. It is what it is. We'll get better. I know we will.
Your LAT boys have been looking good, though, man. They have.
Yeah. If you're interested, 29 matches played, 65% win rate.
Yeah. Hey. I mean, hey, give them the trophy right now, man.
Honestly.
This might be their year, honestly.
Yeah. Actually, only one more I want to bring up because we were kind of trash talking them earlier. LAG, only 12 maps played, and this is just the current roster, not including the one that they originally had with ASIM and Gunless. 83% win rate, 10-2.
Do you know who they scrim?
I couldn't tell you off the top of my head, honestly.
Okay. If it's like 2 scrub challenger teams, and I'm not giving it any light of day.
I think it was. Yeah, I couldn't tell you, to be honest. I'm not going to make it up off the top of my head, so yeah.
No, that's fine. If they scrimmed like LAT or Boston and somebody had slammed them, like, hey, yeah, maybe. But I mean, if they're scrimming like,
do you know what Boston's
challengers
scrim?
55 maps, 42% win rate, 23 and 32. They were the second most maps played.
They'll put in the work. I think they'll be all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see. I'll just quickly list it off. Ready? Ravens 50%, Breach 42, Optic 45, FaZe 83, Rocker 44, LAT 65, Legion 50, NYSL 50, Heretics 60, Surge 40, LAG 83, Ultra 71.
Heretics 60. Wow.
I mean, 15 maps. So.
Oh, okay. Like I said, there's.
What did you say Toronto's was?
71,
but they are 5-2. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Some of these teams are obviously they're scrimming off stream now, which is expected. So we don't actually know what's going on, but those numbers are definitely interesting for sure. One of those teams definitely stands out.
Oh man! All right, I think it's time we get to our final segment, maybe the most fun one. Week 1 pick'ems. We got 11 matches week 1, so one more than what we're used to because they're playing 7 online qualifiers instead of 5 now per team. So we're gonna have more matches per week, and we have 4 weeks instead of 3 weeks for until Major 1. So But we're only going to do week 1. We can do week 2 and week 3 as we get forward in the season. But first one, Boston versus FaZe. What do you guys got?
I'm going FaZe a hot 3-0. I don't think there's a question about it, honestly.
I'll go FaZe 3-1. I'll just give Boston a map just to give them a map. I don't want the first series of the year to be a hot 3-0. So for that reason, I'll throw them in a map. I'll give them map 1 hard point where everyone starts overreacting. Oh my God, is FaZe trash? And then they smoke the next 3 maps.
Yeah,
I could see that. I could see that.
Hey, it's Slasher's first game back against his team he was on last year. He's going to be coming out hot with vengeance. He's going to get 3-0'd in my opinion, but I think it's going to be some close maps. Maybe they steal one, but I'll say 3-0 just to be bold. We'll see what happens, but I don't think many people are going to be picking Boston here.
Unless you're a Boston fan, but
even at that, I don't. All right, next up, 2 dark horse teams: Seattle Surge, LA Thieves. I'll go first. I'm obviously taking LA Thieves. I'm going 3-2. I think it's gonna be close. But I gotta back my boys.
That's exactly what I had. I had Thieves winning 3-2. I think Surge takes the S&D and the control. I think Thieves wins everything else.
I also have LAT 3-2.
Let's go.
I have faith in my boy Dan Ghosty.
What I like to hear. That is what I like to hear. All right, last match of the day on Friday. New York Subliners, Optic Texas. Probably the best matchup of the weekend. Definitely the best matchup of the weekend, at least on paper. I know Preston saw what I tweeted, the retweet I had from on Twitter. NYSL is 0-4, have been swept in every single opening series of the CDL. Optic, I think, are like 2-2 or 3-1 or something like that. Is this an easy win for Optic? What are we thinking?
No.
No.
No. This is not an easy win for Optic, and this is sickening. This is the first matchup. I can't even watch it either way at the family, so I'm going to catch up later. But I'll go Optic Game 5. I'll go Optic 3-2. I am very excited that we have Pred on our team now. Obviously because he's Pred, but I think he is insane in S&D. So I think it'll help us in some Game 5 situations. For that reason, I'll go Optic Game 5, 3-2.
Yeah, I'm going Optic as well, 3-2, Game 5. I think, I don't know, just, the battle of old teammates and now rivals, Sib and Pred. But I just think, I just think Optic is going to pull it out in the end. I know Game 5 last year, if I'm not mistaken, Optic wasn't the best at them, if I'm not mistaken. But I think this year, with the talent that we have, I honestly think Kenny's going to bring a lot to us in S&D as well. I know he posted the picture of his notebook that he had with notes during the Vanguard season. So if we get that Kenny, I think we're going to be solid, honestly. So I'm going Optic 3-2 as well.
Yeah, maybe I should take NYSL here just to be different. But I'm gonna go Optic. I'm gonna go Optic 3-1. It's definitely one of those where I think either one of these teams could come out and 3-0 the other one, honestly. Whoever's hot on that day is gonna be good. But I'm thinking Optic 3-1. I think losing Priesta is a big loss for this Subliners team personally. We'll see how wrong I end up being throughout the season. But starting off the year, I think Subliners continue their winless opening series in maybe the last year of the league. We'll see.
I hope so too.
Yeah, but
something real quick. So we're going through the predictions and stuff like that. 5% or 5.7% of people voted for Breach.
Oh yeah, I forgot about. I'm not logged into my Pick'em site, so I didn't see that.
Oh,
but
yeah.
that's good to have.
And 94.3%
see
voted for FaZe to win.
Yeah.
So that's all fan predictions, of course. Surge and Thieves, 66% have Thieves winning, 34% have Surge winning, and then Optic, of course, Optic's always going to have majority just because we have majority of fans. So 65.8% picked Optic and 34.2% picked Subliners to win.
Optic are 3-2 in their last 5 matchups versus the Subliners. So
hey,
right now it's 65-35 in favor of voting, but Optic fan voting is always
Yeah.
Yeah,
Favorite at
lopsided,
this time. Yeah,
honestly.
always lopsided. So
All right. Well.
It,
Oh, sorry. You
it's
go, Alex.
also, no, I was gonna say, it's also champs winners round 2 rematch after the catastrophic
breakdown
that we had versus them on
Hydro.
what was it? Yeah, on Hydro.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God.
So
Yeah,
we'll
that
see how
was
that goes. But yeah,
break me again.
Well, so far, all three of us have picked the same team, and we've picked what the majority have picked. So we'll see if we can maybe be a little different going forward. But day 2, first matchup: Miami Heretics, Carolina Royal Ravens. The two new franchises, I guess, right? Ravens moved and Heretics rebranded. So I'm going Ravens to start it off. I'm going Ravens 3-1. I really don't know much about Heretics, honestly. So I'm just gonna be stick to a couple of the guys I was backing earlier with the awards, and I'm gonna go Ravens 3-1.
These are both pretty young squads, to be honest. Not only
Mhm.
are they the two new faces in the CDL, but they're both pretty young. But there's one guy that sticks out from the rest of them. That's my boy Clay. I'm not doubting Clay in the first matchup of the year against a bunch of young guys. I mean, they're all, well, I guess not rookies, but they're all really, really young.
Mhm.
I'm going Carolina hot 3-0. I
Oof.
don't think it's close. I'll take them 3-0, and I got faith in the boy Clay.
yeah. I'm gonna go Carolina 3-1, same as Jake. Again, I don't know much about Miami, so I can't feed to them about like if they're good or if they're not. It's just based off what I've seen. And I'd like how you said, Preston. I don't think Clay is gonna let them get an L that day. So I'm going Ravens 3-1.
All right. 72% of people said Ravens, so we continue to stay with the majority.
Nice.
And then we move into Rocker versus Legion. And I'm going Legion 3. I'm gonna go Legion 3-2. I'm gonna go Legion 3-2. I think game 5, Vegas pulls it out.
Yep, I have the same thing. I got Vegas 3-2 over Minnesota. I don't like this Minnesota team at all. I hope that Linz is absolutely elite and can bring a lot of slaying power next to Awakening. We'll see. I like Vegas here.
I'm going 3-1 Vegas. I think that subduo of I'm tripping. Standy and Arrow are gonna show why they should have been kept on their teams last season and really show out. So I'm going 3-1.
All right. We are in the minority. 41% said Vegas. So
I saw that. That's
I like
crazy.
that.
yeah.
I like that.
Honestly, I actually don't mind the Rocker team on paper. I think Awakening slaying balances out Accuracy's lack of slaying. I don't know a lot about Linz, but apparently he can be a pretty good like cleanup slaying SMG behind Vivid, who's fast paced and will probably die a lot, but also do a lot of damage. But I think I like Legion better.
That team is gonna live and die off of Vivid. I mean, I feel like
Every team with Vivid does.
Yes, I feel like I say this with every team with Vivid. They're gonna live and die by Vivid. If he's shooting, they're gonna absolutely.
Mhm.
If he's just spawning and running and dying, they're gonna struggle. I mean, that Boston team last year. There was times where he 14 and 40 just sprinting into death. I mean, that's the way he plays. That's literally the way he plays.
You got to respect the fact. It's like in like the NBA where a guy might be like over 15 and he just keeps shooting. Like you just got to get out of the rut. Eventually, you're gonna get it, right?
He's setting pace. No matter what he's doing, he's setting pace. If he's setting pace and shooting, they're gonna. But we'll see. I like Vegas.
Yeah, take it Vegas too.
All right. I like it. LAG Toronto Ultra. I have a feeling I know what team we're all gonna go with. I'm gonna go 3-1. LAG apparently is looking good in scrims, like we said. So I'm going 3-1 Ultra. What do you guys got?
3-0.
3-0.
I'm not even gonna explain it.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I don't think there's even a question about it. I think Toronto's absolutely mollywop them. It's gonna be a quick series.
Yeah.
I definitely think 3-0 is possible, but I'm gonna give them one. It's 93% said Ultra. So
That might be a 25-minute series where they just throw a tech delay in there on purpose to elongate it a little bit.
Right. Can you imagine?
It's gonna be probably the fastest DoorDash challenge ever.
Oh man. All right. Last series of the day for Saturday: Breach versus Surge. One that I'm very interested in. I don't really know who I want to pick here. So if one of you wants to go first, feel free to take the lead.
Yeah, I'll go Surge 3-2. I have them losing a game 5 versus LAT the day prior, Friday. I think they bounce back and win a game 5 versus Boston the next day. I think it's going to be a rough weekend for Boston, but it's a relatively young. Cap and Snoopy are both very, very young. So I think it's going to be a good learning weekend for them. They're going to bounce back. But I do trust the veterans on Seattle. They got a few veterans on that team. And I'm buying heavily into the hype of Booza. So I hope he proves me right. So I'll go Seattle in a game 5. Plus Illy, I mean S&D mastermind.
It's true.
That's what I was gonna say. 3-2 Surge. I think they're gonna split maps, and then Surge is just they're the overall better S&D team in my eyes. And they're gonna pull out that. I don't think it's. I don't even think it's gonna be two. I think it'll be 6-2 last map. Honestly, 6-2 last map.
All right,
I think
he's getting
Surge is gonna-
specific.
He's got specifics.
I like
they're
it.
going A round 3.
You know what map
So-
they're gonna play yet, or?
I think they might go invasion. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I think I'm gonna agree with you guys with Surge here. You know, it is definitely 3 AR meta probably right now. So early in the season, I don't see that changing come Saturday, December 9th. So I'm gonna go Surge. I'm gonna say 3-0. I'm gonna say 3-0. Let's be bold.
Okay.
You know, maybe those come out and fry them. I guess we will see. But I'm gonna say Surge 3-0.
Nice.
All right. Sunday, last day. Ravens versus Legion, which is typically a battle of not even the bottom of the table.
Yeah,
But it might be
bowl.
different this year. So what are you guys looking at here?
I don't know, man.
I'm going. Sorry, go ahead, Preston.
No, go, because I don't have anything. So
I was gonna go 3-1 Ravens.
Okay.
I'm still on the hype train for the Ravens. I think that the new city, the new team is gonna give them some oomph and really push them over the line. But I'm thinking 3-1 Ravens.
I'll go 3-2 Ravens. I think this is going to be like a super mixy game. I think it's going to be back and forth between the maps. But I think that I trust Clay in a game 5 a little bit more. So I'll go 3-2 Ravens. Plus, I mean, I don't follow challenge, but last year I know that like Gwyn was absolutely incredible in S&D. So I mean, I hope it carries over for them. So I'll go 3-2 Ravens.
All right. First time I think we're all going to disagree. I'm going Legion 3-2.
There we go.
I don't know. I got a good feeling about this Legion team. I did a power ranking video. I had them 6. Maybe it's a bit bold. I think Legion's going to be good. I think we're going to get a Purge Masterclass game 5. I believe he was really good at Search and Destroy as well in Challengers. So yeah, I'm gonna go Legion. I'm just gonna back what I originally was thinking for this year, that they're gonna be good.
Correct.
And then, I mean, 71% of people said Ravens for this one. So it is not really split down the middle like I kind of thought it would be. Maybe it's just the Clayster fans, because who isn't a fan of Clay?
It's just people sleeping on Vegas. That's all it is.
Which rightfully so, because they've never been really any good.
I know, but
Why?
these people don't know ball.
We will see. All right, this one, best series of the weekend, LAG New York Subliners.
Oh yeah, best series of the weekend.
I'm going Subliners 3. I'm gonna go 3-1 again. I'm giving LAG another map.
I'll go 3-1 this time too. I'll go 3-1 this time too. I'll give them a map this time. I don't think they're taking a map off Toronto, but
Yeah.
I'll give them a single map.
Yeah, I'm going 3-1 as well. NYSL. I'll give them a map. You know, I think Toronto's just way too good right now. I know even Draw said that out of all the scrims they've had, Toronto's been playing them the best. So that says something. So I don't think they're taking a map off Toronto, but I think they'll take one off NYSL. They might win like the S&D or something, just like round 11.
Yeah, if LAG comes out and sweeps both of them, I don't think we're posting a second episode of this podcast. I'd be too embarrassed to even come back. So hopefully, I mean, anything's possible early in the season. You never really know.
Yeah,
But
I
it's
mean,
definitely not in their
Yeah,
favor.
listen,
COD
that
is
they're
like
kind
the
of like in the
day.
gauntlet right now with their first
Uh,
two matches. They get
Mhm.
thrown into literally first and second from last year as their first two matches.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah. All right. Second to last match of the day on Sunday. Probably the one I'm most excited for is going to be FaZe Thieves. Um, as a Thieves fan, I think I'm still picking FaZe. It's just they look so good, and like we were saying earlier, in the beginning of the season, a lot of it just comes down to how good your individual players are, and FaZe is definitely the best individually skilled team. Um, so I think I'm gonna go 3-2. Honestly, I think the Thieves look good. I think they have the capabilities of pushing this FaZe team, but I'm still gonna go FaZe, even though it breaks my heart.
I'm on that boat with you. I'm going 3-2 phase. Yeah, they have looked good in scrims. Thieves did take a couple scrim off or maps off them, so I'll give them that. But I'm going 3-2. I think just FaZe will pull it out in that final S&D.
I got you, Jake. I'm going 3-1 FaZe, not FaZe. I'm going 3-1 Thieves.
All
I'm
right.
thinking Thieves. I'm gonna give them all three respawns. I'm gonna give FaZe the S&D. This
Okay.
is just
I like it.
This is just pure going against everybody. I like to go with one just absolute fugazi pick
Mm-hmm.
every single weekend. This is my fugazi pick. Do I think this will happen? No, but we're gonna go with it anyways. I'm going 3-1 LAT. I think all four maps are close, but I give FaZe the S&D and LAT win the respawns. Joe Deceives Masterclass.
Hey, I like it. I mean,
Okay.
if you want to like win the pick'ems, let's say, like how they do the leaderboard on here, you gotta hit those long shots if you want to be
Yeah.
the one who ends up at the top. So
Yeah.
I think that's a reasonable one, especially at the beginning of the season.
Yep.
All right, last match of the day. Of course, it's Optic, because who wouldn't want to wait for Optic at the end of the day, get all that viewership? Optic
Exactly.
Rocker. I already know what you guys are gonna pick, so give me your map counts.
I'm going.
Trio.
I'm going 3-1. I'm gonna give them one map, a gentleman's sweep.
All right, I'm going 3-0-2. I'm with Preston on this one.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, I like the Rocker team. I actually think they're going to be better than people maybe think they're going to be. But I mean, Optic's got that talent, man. They're going to be so talented, and with Kenny, they're going to be so much more organized, I think, and disciplined.
Uh,
It's going to be
we're
crazy.
we're playing Lamar though.
That is
As long
true.
as
It might be haunting. Just
as long as we don't line up, we're good.
Lamar on Rocker. I mean,
that's
quite
true.
literally.
That's true.
Oh,
This
I
guy
mean,
is against
the last time they
that
played
brings-
Lamar on Rocker was when they lined up, right?
Yeah, didn't he get dropped from that event? I don't think he played on Rocker after that. So
I don't
it's just,
remember.
That's
it's like actually
wild, dude.
PTSD.
That was a nightmare. I remember I was watching it, and that's just it just all happened so quick, and I was shocked.
Yeah,
It was
I
just-
mean, on the bright side, it's only Dashy from that Optic team that's still playing. So maybe he might
Fair
be
enough.
mentally checked out a little bit, but the rest of them should be fine.
No, they'll be all right. They'll be all right.
Yeah.
I mean, Pred wasn't even in the league at that point,
No,
It's
no, he
crazy.
wasn't.
And
right?
then he
I
came
mean,
in.
Cold War
he
was a
came
long
in-
time ago.
I
Yeah.
actually think like he just turned 18, so he was just eligible to compete, but he was stuck in Australia, which is insane because that was still COVID years. So that's
Yeah,
crazy.
That's wild. But yeah, that's all the pick'ems for week 1. Like I said, we'll do week 2 and such as we get closer to that. I want to see what happens with week 1 first before I start trying to predict week 2. But yeah, you guys got any final thoughts, big things you're looking out for, sort of things that you're really excited about for week 1?
I just think just like how they like a fresh new game that's not MW2 with all the changes,
Mhm.
with covert sneakers, which is basically Ninja. But we still have Daddy for those that don't want to run those sneakers. Red dots, we have the maps, back then because of nostalgia, we thought they were really good. But now seeing them and how they play in like current gen COD, they're a little wishy-washy. But I just think just a new, fresh game that's actually good is what I'm looking forward to, honestly. Just a great series of competitive COD next week.
This might seem like such a corny response, but I'm looking forward to seeing the CODcaster spectator layout.
Okay.
Dude, like a good spectator layout to me just makes everything so much better. There's like the Black Ops 4 layout where it was so hard to see everyone. Like the kills were like in like size 6 font. It was impossible to see just because there's 10 people on the map. It drove me nuts. I want a good spectator layout, so that's what I'm gonna go with because I have no idea what else to say. I have no idea what to expect. So
You're probably the only one who would say that. So
yeah, I mean,
I like it though.
Off the wall. That's what I'm going with. Give me a good spectator layout, and I'll be happy.
Yeah, I like it. I definitely, I haven't really watched a lot of scrims, honestly. I mean, just between being busy with real life and like just knowing the scrims don't mean much, I haven't really tuned in. So I'm just excited to actually like see the teams play because I don't know much about any of this or even how the maps play at this point. So it'll be mostly my first impression. And then I'm also just, who's gonna be the first one to snake something is what I want to see. You know it's gonna happen at least once, whether it's on purpose or it's on accident. You never, whatever people want to say. Someone's gonna hit a snake, and it's gonna be hilarious.
I'm also looking forward to the first donut of the year. Who's gonna be that first person that drops that donut?
Dude, without Octane in the league, I don't know who's gonna be dropping donuts because I feel like he was the culprit.
They've come up with like I guess a standard for snaking now. You have to do it 3 consecutive times without stopping in between. So that's code from Zuma. So apparently you're allowed to
what is
bop
considered
up and down.
What is considered stopping? Like if you crouch and you don't come back up right away, is that stopping, or you have to get off the heady completely?
Yes, no. If you crouch and don't come back up right away, that's considered stopping.
Okay, so people are just gonna crouch for a couple seconds, pop up.
Yeah, that's
like
technically
for info is what they're gonna do.
Technically not snaking according to Tommy. So you have to do it consecutive 3 times for it to be considered snaking. So we'll see.
I mean,
I don't know.
I know the dev said, Sledgehammer said that they're looking into a fix for snaking. How you fix it though, I have no idea. Like, do you just delay how many times you can crouch and stand up, or like what?
Yeah, I don't know how many videos I've watched of TACRAB where he said in CS they have
you just put it's like a fatigue. If you you can do like 2 crouches, but the third one you slow down, and like the fourth one you can't even go down.
Yeah, you're like, what's so difficult? Their answer was about the casual player.
Yeah.
I think they don't want it to affect the casual player negatively. Which
I mean, but like, what casual player is actually out there like snaking in pubs?
That's my point. Yeah.
Yeah, no. I've seen some people say that they saw or they heard devs say that like if they put a fatigue or a delay on the crouch, then it might mess up the other movement in the game, like sliding and stuff. I don't know how true that is. They can figure it out. They can figure. They're capable of figuring out a way to fix the snaking problem and not break everything else. But
yeah, for sure.
Like you're saying, they might just not care because the COD community, like the competitive community, is like 10% of the overall player base. Even if that, do they really care what 10% of people think when another 90% don't care about snaking? It's probably just not a big enough issue in the grand scheme of things for them to want to fix.
Yeah, I'm also looking forward to one more, which I probably should have said, but what they're gonna do with the casters, since we started with Brice and Tunn, obviously, and Lando stepping down. Study right now is by himself. Right now, as far as we know, majors only. So technically, the only duo that we have locked in is Chance and Miles. So, I mean,
those guys are gonna lose their voice.
I guess so. It's gonna be Saturday morning, and they're gonna be talked for the first match. So I'm excited to see what they do there. Maybe some new duo will get an opportunity, or
I feel like they'll definitely bring someone up from like the challenger scene, because again, we still haven't even heard anything about challengers. I know Daniel Say, whatever his name is, he said that they were gonna release more information on challengers a few weeks after the game has released, and we're a week out and we still haven't heard anything. So
I think a lot of that, to be fair, I'm not going to defend them unless they actually defending, because I mean they've shot themselves in the foot a couple times. But in their defense, Game Battles did say that they're like shutting down, so I'll give them a little bit of benefit for them because Challengers runs through Game Battles. So
yeah, well, isn't Game Battles also owned by Activision?
Yeah, that's also the thing. So
that's the thing.
They should have had some inside scoop on this. But
I
it's
mean,
fair.
they-
I mean, it's a fair devil's advocate take.
we'll see. I'm
Yeah.
just excited. It's
Yeah,
time again,
I think
finally.
I think they're probably gonna bring a few like challenger casters duos from down there, and just see how they do in the CDL.
After a
Um,
brutal long off season, we've finally made it back.
yeah, we
Yeah.
also need to do something about these off seasons because I can't take more of these.
I feel
6
like
months.
the first like 2-3 months were like once Roster Mania like kind of ended where you weren't really hearing anything anymore other than like LAG not having a team. Then all of a sudden it sped up. I just felt like out of nowhere we were here. And then when the game released, obviously that pulled you over. But I don't know. I feel like the last 2 months went by quick.
Like I was waiting an
Um,
eternity, honestly.
Maybe it's just me.
I could kind of get behind that, I guess. I just 6 months is like
It's
there's
too
no
long.
reason. There's no reason the off season should be the exact
It's not
same
like
time as
it's
the
not like they're
actual
playing
season.
football where they need like a physical break where they're just like
Right.
wiped. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. And even football off seasons are 5 months. They're not even
Yeah,
6.
so
So
they can figure it out. The more COD, the
starting.
better, but they don't want to spend the money to give us more.
Honestly, I just hope next year if we don't have the CDL, we go to a format that actually with Microsoft purchasing Activision. I hope Microsoft puts some money back into the like competitive Call of Duty and we see something great next year.
We'll have to talk about in one of these pods, like if the CDL closes, what could hypothetically happen or what we'd want to see happen. We'll have that as a segment eventually.
For sure.
But yeah, any more final thoughts? Or are we ready to end this out?
I think we're good, man.
I think we're good.
Yeah, first episode down. Hopefully, no one can hear the plane that's flying over my house right now. But yeah, first episode down. Thank you to everybody. If you listened or watched all the way to the end, if you have any questions, comments for us, drop it down below. We'll definitely be taking those in future episodes. And yeah, enjoy the first week of the CDL, and we'll see you guys all in the next one.